Inner peace, inner peace, inner peace. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Summer Meyers. I'm a homeschool mom of 6 kids, and on this channel we talk about all things homeschool. And if that is something you are interested in, I would love it if you would stick around. Today we are going to be talking about fun preschool books. Okay, one of my favorite books is King Bidgood's In the Bathtub. This is by Dawn and Audrey Wood. I love a lot of their books. They have phenomenal books like Hecate Peg and Piggies. This one, mamas, is one that all of my preschoolers love, and they love to read. It's so clever and it is so cute, and it's something I actually don't see often mentioned, so I'm going to promote it now. This is a great book, and I love talking about the pictures and movement that's in it. I love the artwork. The artwork is just like, it's phenomenal, just like all of the Woods books. This is an awesome book to read aloud to preschoolers. They love to see what the king asks the next group to do, and they are just like, oh my gosh, is he really gonna ask them to go fishing in the bathtub? Are they really gonna have lunch in the bathtub? It's funny and cute and innocent, and it's just the sort of thing that little preschoolers love and enjoy. So in that vein of Audrey and Dawn Wood, I am also going to recommend Piggies. I love this book. I love this book so much. I actually have 2 copies. I read this one so often to my own children. It's become a hand game that I can sing in the car on long car rides, and they will all know it and they will all do it along with me. It's more geared towards the younger toddlers, but my preschoolers really love it too. I think there's something about the pictures that are so engaging, and thinking about your hands as little piggies and the funny little things that they get up to. It's just really cute, it's really clever, and it's a great read aloud. Okay, now this book has been read to pieces and saved over and over. It's taped and just, it's such a mess. The Tickle Monster by Josie Bissett. Tickle Monster is really cute book about a little monster from an alien planet who comes down and is here to tickle you. So this is fun for when you have really small groups and you can go out and tickle them. You can go out and terrorize the kids that are listening to you. This is also a really fun bedtime read aloud book for little kids that are sitting on your lap. This was cute. I got it with the gloves. So it comes with little fingerless gloves that you can use to read the story with and then like tickle while you're doing it. Tickle Monster is so cute, and I'd highly recommend using this as a read aloud. This is a relatively new favorite of ours. It is The Wall in the Middle of the Book by John Agee. John Agee. I haven't heard of that guy. But this book has quickly become a favorite. We just bought it, I think about, oh my gosh, it's COVID, so time has no meaning. But it was like last year and a half, 2 years maybe. It's a great story about a knight who's on one side of the wall, and on the other side of the wall is all these awful things, but he's safe on this side of the wall. And just watching how eventually progresses to him making it to the other side, and actually the other side of the wall isn't so bad. It's actually really awesome and so cool. And I love the discussions that I get from preschoolers when I read this book. Like, sometimes we think that new experiences are scary and that we are more safe knowing. Really, in reality, we learn so much and gain so much when we try new things. So this is a great preschool book, and I highly recommend it. The Relatives Came. I love this book so much. This is a summer book. So, you know, it's a summertime book. This is by Cynthia Rylant, who's also written a lot of really great books. But this is the kind of book that I love to read as we are getting ready to leave preschool, as the school year is kind of winding down and we're ready to go do our summer vacation and what that means, and talking about our relatives and our family and what do we do when we get family together. And the kids are always mesmerized by how many people are in their house and how do they fit everybody and how do they feed everybody, and would that be fun to have a huge family like that, and what is your family like, and what do you guys do when you get together and you do big family reunions. And it sparks really great discussion. It's a fun read aloud. I'm gonna say it's a great read aloud to all of these because they are all great read alouds. So every time after I'm introducing a book, I'm going to say, this is a great read aloud. I'm really sorry. Has anyone seen my Emily Greene? This is by Norma Fox Mazer. I love this book. It's kind of funny how he's looking for her and he can't find her. The pictures are darling and so cute. And I started reading this out loud to my little preschoolers and they love it. They love watching the adults scouring the house and looking for Emily Greene and where she is. It's a great rhyming book. It's got great rhythm and beat. This is a great read aloud for that reason, because it leads to naturally into childhood games and movement and that sort of thing. So great read aloud, pick it up. Sailor Moo Cow at Sea. I love Sailor Moo Cow at Sea. So this is by Lisa Wheeler. And actually, I think I have it signed by the author, which makes me super cool. I love how clever it is. It is very cute. It's got great rhythm. It's a great poem rhyming book. And it's very endearing, and how Sailor Moo goes off to sea and she meets the manatee, her cousin, her sea cousin, and she runs into pirates. The pictures are darling and the verses are very clever and cute. Absolutely a perfect book to read aloud. And it's one of those things that's fun to read because you can exaggerate some of those vowels like moo, and kids love that. I love books like this that lend themselves well to reading out loud. Anyway, this is a great read aloud. That Rabbit Belongs to Emily Brown. I love this book. This is by Cressida Cowell and Neil Layton. So this book is about a little girl who has a lovey, and it is a rabbit. And it is very important to her, and they have many great and grand adventures. And there is a silly, naughty queen who really wants that rabbit that belongs to Emily Brown and is trying to persuade Emily Brown to give her up her little rabbit friend. And it's really sweet and cute. This opens up great discussion with preschoolers about, do you have any loveys, or what is something that you love desperately and want most? And also is kind of this interesting idea of childhood and how when you have something that you love and you play pretend with, and it just takes you to a whole different places and interesting things. It's just great imaginary play. A chance to talk about, well, what are some imaginary places that you have been and done, and what would you do if somebody came and took your rabbit, and all that sort of thing. Anyway, it's a great read aloud. Lots and lots of fun. Tikki Tembo. Does anybody remember this? I actually still remember the episode that Reading Rainbow did with LeVar. Does anybody remember those episodes? That was Reading Rainbow and then the butterfly. I loved that show. Anyway, this was one of the books that they talked about in it. My preschoolers request this one. Like, they ask for us to read Tikki Tembo pretty much every week. It's one of their favorite, and whenever I do get it out, it's like, it's so funny because it's about a boy who fell into a well. I mean, it's like not a pleasant, happy story, but the rhyming and the huge name and just having to say all of those vowels and syllables, I mean, it just lends itself really, really well to reading out loud, and my preschoolers really enjoy it. It's a classic. It's a classic book, classic preschool book, and I would absolutely recommend it. The Book with No Pictures by B.J. Novak. So this is a book that you cannot just rely on the book itself. It is a book that forces you to become a really good read alouder. I don't know if that's a thing. This is by B.J. Novak. It's the same guy who did The Office. It is really, really clever, and all of my children and my preschoolers really enjoy it. The words are really fun, but it's lending yourself to acting it out and being silly. And if it's done right and done well, your preschoolers will absolutely be enthralled and really enjoy it. So if you struggle with reading aloud, I would practice this book, actually. I mean, that sounds really weird to practice a preschool book to read aloud. It is absolutely worth it if you can get some kind of theater going on, if you will, while you read it. So it's phenomenal, and I would pick it up. This is the kind of book that inspires creative learning. So it's called Play This Book by Jessica Young. This is brand new to me. This is a library copy, and I've only read it once or twice to my preschoolers so far this year, but I'm definitely going to pick it up because the movement and the encouragement that it gets them to play the book as opposed to just listening and being passive with it is really smart. It's a little bit harder to do in a large group setting. So if you are a librarian, preschool teacher to multiple preschoolers, there's some creative ways that you can use this book for a larger group. For smaller groups, I can have kids come and they can play the book while we're reading it. For larger groups, I would say you have them pretend to hold the instrument. And how do you do that? And what does that look like? And what does it sound like? And can we make the sound with our mouths? It is such a cute book, and it is so well done. And all of my kids have really enjoyed it. So Play This Book by Jessica Young. Check it out. So this is a new book also that I am currently going to purchase. It's one I just barely borrowed from the library, but I have fallen in love with it. I don't know what that says about me. It's called Green Lizards versus Red Rectangles by Steve Antony. Thank you, Steve Antony. It's a story about these lizards and red rectangles who are fighting each other. They're in a war. And how do green lizards and how do red rectangles fight, you might ask? And it's really clever the way it does, but it also opens up discussion about, like problem solving. And like, what do you do when you are mad at your neighbor or mad at your friend? And how do you resolve that? And talking it out and peaceful compromise. And I think it makes a really interesting read aloud because it is not the typical fare for preschool books. Anyway, it's definitely worth checking out and I would recommend it. All right, so I am a huge fan of Mo Willems. All of his stuff like Piggy and Gerald and what's the other one? Oh, Knuffle Bunny. He's just a really clever, fun children's book author. I really enjoy all of his stuff. And one of my favorite books that I love to read out to my preschoolers and my preschoolers really enjoy is That Is Not a Good Idea. So the whole premise of it is that there's this fox and he's luring Mama Duck into his lair. And is that a good idea? I'm going to give a warning because I have had one or two sensitive and dear children be a little upset by the ending. And I don't want to spoil it. Do I spoil it? It's a children's book. I don't know. Spoiler alert, the duck eats the fox at the end. If you have sensitive children in your group, or if you have a sensitive child, maybe you'll want to pre-read it. All of my kids have really enjoyed it. I think it's our sense of humor. It's so silly. And it's a little dark, a little edgy for a preschool book. But all of my preschoolers like repeating the phrase, that is not a good idea. That is not a good idea. And how that builds up dramatically until the ultimate climax of the end. And it's really cute and it's really clever. I would recommend it. I wouldn't shy away from it. It's just so much fun. So those are my favorite preschool read aloud books. Those are the books that I love bringing out and that my children, when I do bring them out, all get really excited about and are like, oh yeah, I remember reading that last year. And I also want to make a note too that when you are teaching or reread books, don't feel like, oh, we read that, it's done already, you gotta set it to the side. Preschoolers love it when you reread a book that you did a week ago or even 2 weeks ago, or bring it back out after a month. They all enjoy seeing a book that they've already been read to and know how the story is going to go. In fact, in some instances, I've noticed that it tends to keep and capture their attention longer if it's a book that they're already familiar with. So if you are teaching a group of kids, I wouldn't shy away with the fact that, well, we've already read that. It's already done. We've already done that unit or whatever. No, Mama. If they really enjoy it and like it, bring it out again and do it again. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, I hope this list was helpful. If it was, subscribe. Check out my other book lists. I'll put a playlist link somewhere. I've got lots of other book recommendations, and I hope that was helpful. I think I already said that. I just want to be helpful. Please let me just be helpful. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. Take it easy, everybody. Bye.